So, I don't know if anybody's asked this question, but if, if the rights of the original Filmation series belong to somebody else, then why would anybody, Netflix, Kevin Smith, Ted Biaselli, the voice cast, why would they sell this as a direct sequel to that series, or a spiritual sequel, or a sequel of any kind, if Universal owns the rights? And what I'm talking about is I keep hearing people on various pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everybody is saying that Universal owns the rights to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and that because of this, the Kevin Smith, Ted Biaselli sequel, the Netflix sequel, is not a sequel. It's its own thing. That they could pass it off as a sequel all they want. But the fact of the matter is, it isn't. And that this is just a story that Kevin Smith wanted to tell. Kevin Smith and people like Ted Biaselli and others wanted to tell. So, if that is indeed true, then, why even bother promoting it as such? I know I talked about earlier in a video where, we asked the question of why Kevin Smith just didn't say no to some of the decisions that Ted Biaselli suggested or wanted to put into the series. And, that is still a question a lot of people are going to ask. But even still, why, if you're Netflix, if you're Ted Biaselli, and even if you're Kevin Smith, why would you promote this as a sequel when you don't have the rights to do so? Huh? The distributing rights to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, according to people right now, is owned by Universal. Which is why, basically, you could watch them in any area. Whether it is here on Netflix, whether it is on Starz, Encore Kids, if you will. Whether it's, on Tubin, or whatever the case may be, or Peacock. The fact of the matter is, if you don't own the distributing rights, or the rights, period, to the original Filmation series, then why even say this is a sequel when it's not? It's not a sequel if that's the case. It might be an inspirational spin-off, and that's fine. But why say it's a sequel? Huh? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. You can't say something is a sequel if somebody else owns the rights to the very thing you're saying is the spiritual direct sequel to. All this really is, when you think about it, is an inspired spiritual direct spin-off. All this really is, in a sense, is nothing more than what I said we should be looking at it, overall. This, the Junkman here on YouTube said and others here on YouTube have said we should be looking at it as nothing more than an alternate universe, alternate timeline, another place, another time scenario, not as a direct sequel. So basically, why would you want to sell it? Why would you want to sell it and promote it as such, even in your description on your streaming channel, on your streaming app? Why would you do that when you know darn well it's not? Why? Because you're one of the very fortunate services that is able to showcase both the original He-Man and the original She-Ra? Is that it? Again, you're not the only ones, Netflix. You're not the only one, Ted Biaselli. Here on YouTube, you have the He-Man official YouTube page that has all the episodes of He-Man and She-Ra and the New Adventures of He-Man and the Sword and the Stone and the Secret of the Sword movie. They even allow, if not have been showcasing once in a while, the new 2002 series. The fact of the matter is this. Where do you get off on the idea that you could sell this as something that it's not? And Again, I bring this up because I constantly hear people bringing this up themselves, trying to bring this up as a way to defend that this is not what Kevin Smith and Ted Biaselli and Netflix are selling you on, or trying to promote it as. So I ask again, why would anybody want to do this? You could say, I mean, it makes more sense, like I said, to either say it's a inspirational spin-off, a spiritual spin-off, a direct spin-off. That's one thing, or one way of saying it, or promoting it. Or you could say it's an alternate universe, alternate time. That's it. Alternate reality. That's it. Nothing more. You don't have to keep constantly saying that it's a sequel to something you don't have the rights to. Just because what you're one of the fortunate few that get to broadcast or get to, stream on demand the original series. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I mean, if I'm Netflix, if I'm the marketing team at Netflix, if I'm the marketing team at Mattel, I go and reevaluate this and be like, okay, this is not a sequel. This is something different. That's what I do. I rephrase that synopsis on the page on my streaming app for it and say, this is inspired. This is a spin-off that's inspired. This is alternate universe, alternate time. That's what I do. I don't constantly say it's something that it's not, because I don't have the rights to say that, because, Universal are the ones that have the rights. And I'm surprised Universal hasn't come after them and said, yeah, by the way, this is not directly a sequel to what we own right now. This is something different, so please, promote it as such, or else we're going to sue you. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on the fact that Netflix, Ted Biaselli, Kevin Smith are promoting this as a direct sequel to He-Man and the Masters Universe, when currently right now they don't own the distributing rights to do that, or distributing rights, or airing rights, or whatever, the license, if you will, to do that? Let me know down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later.